Greetings, everyone, and welcome. Now that I have, looks like it's all working as you gather around, oh, gather around as we gather together today. Mm-hmm. Just take that deep breath and let all things up to this moment, all things including the slower, allow it all to just dissipate. Allow it to fall away, fall away, fall away. As we gather today, discussing possibly new topics, where I want to go with you today. For those of you that are new to me, greetings and welcome. I'm Tammy Lee. I am an accelerated intuitive and way shower. I help to waken up that depth of your soul, help you to reclaim and recall fragmented soul pieces back to you, to help bridge the gap from where you are and from where all these other pieces of you are. Inside, internally, externally, below and above, behind us. And with the work we do, we literally call those pieces back to us. Pieces that we may not know are even fractured from us. Reclaiming, recalling, recalibrating ourselves is vitally important. There are aspects of us also that may have been compromised or damaged or hurt, whether it's in this lifetime or another lifetime. And as we do this work, we also find those pieces of us. Sometimes we think we've done the work. How many of you done this? But I've done that work. I did that healing around my mom or my dad or weight or money or right? And then something comes forth that you least expect that just can shake you and take you off your center sometimes. When we work within ourselves, when we start to heal our ancestry, start to heal our lineage, not just the lineage from our father, lineage from our mother, but also our spiritual lineage, there are times when we literally go into the deepest, darkest depths of the abyss of recalibration of oneself on these ancient ancestral woundings. And when we heal that stuff, when we literally reclaim and we go back into this ancestral and this spiritual lineage, we literally help to set our ancestors free. We literally assist in their recalibration, in their remembrance of who they are, because they've been waiting for us to do this work. Because some of them, most of them, either did the work and then were possibly put to death because of it in different ways, which we still carried that forward in this lifetime, and we must heal that. Or they did the work and they sometimes have had to hide their gifts in order not to be determined as an evil person. And sometimes we still carry that energy into this lifetime because sometimes our ancestors, our lineage, never had time to deal with things. Mhm. So as we gather today, because a lot of this is happening all around us, within with my clients, with the women I work with, within myself. For those of you that don't know, I committed to living a I committed 2022 to really healing my body, to healing my hormonal aspects of my body. And it's more vast than I ever imagined. And it is challenging more than I ever imagined. And there's things within me that are really coming up to be seen. So I had this experience. So as you come on, go ahead and say hi. Go ahead and type your name in the where you're from as we gather today. So as I was sharing, we hmm, you know what? I forgot to mute. I'm totally excuse me. I forgot to mute my phone. Okay. So we're back. Muting our phones so we can be fully aware and right here present with each other. Okay. So as I was sharing, sometimes we find these things within us that we least expected, especially when we think, I've worked with that already. Case in point. So as I was sharing, I have committed to having, to working on my health. I'm turning 60 in May, and I want to be in the best health I've ever been. Over the last few years, I have not paid as much attention to it, thinking I was, and I finally found the right and perfect mentor and teacher to help me with this. Now that I'm through menopause and I'm going into, now that I'm, being ushered into this crone stage of my life and having 13 grandchildren and 5 children that were all active, and I want to stay active and I want to be my best health. So I invest into this year-long program. And I know it works. I know it works. And I'm doing good. And then all of a sudden, like 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I got really sick. And so I couldn't do any of the program, no supplements, anything, because I got really sick, couldn't even keep things down. So I didn't do anything. It was just about me getting healthy again and getting my energy back. So now I'm feeling that energy. I'm feeling like, okay, I can do this. And I just kind of like, oh my gosh, like I'm starting over again. How many of you feel like you're starting over at times, but then you beat yourself up because you think you should know this, right? You think you should know. So there's a part of us that thinks we should know what we should be doing. And there's other part of us, and other part that is like not going along with the program. Or maybe there's even a part of us that feels like they're sabotaging ourselves because there are that unconscious knowing. There's an unconsciousness that kind of, how do I say this? There's that subconscious, unconscious knowing, not unconscious part of us that tries to direct us, that sometimes we just don't know what that is. So I'm asking myself, why am I sabotaging this program that it's a big investment financially and time. Time wise is a big financial, it's a big investment, large investment for me monetarily and with my time and with my physicality. Okay. So, and I'm asking. So this is one of the tools. We ask ourselves, we take a deep breath and we take it into our heart and we just start asking, why? For me, it's like, why am I sabotaging? Like, what's going on? Why do I feel like I'm sabotaging and cannot control that? It felt like it was out of control. Like step one, Tammy, drink this certain formula. Step two, Tammy, make your shake. Step three, Tammy, eat within an hour after you get up. So that tells your hormones that you are doing good and they're ready to rock and roll. Step, within that, take your supplements. I wasn't like, it sounds simple, right? Right? And some of us, like with the time change, we have also that's kind of messed with us a little bit. I'm sleeping an hour later. Even with the sunrise up, I'm like, wow, it's over. It's 8:30 already. Okay. So as I was asking myself, like just really being with me, being in my heart space, because that's all love, right? Being in our heart space. That's where our love, that's where we connect. Taking that breath into your heart space. Allowing emotion to come up if it comes up. And then asking the question. Hello, Sharon. Welcome. So I'm asking the question, what's going on? I'm asking my soul, my spirit to show me also. And literally when I asked what is sabotaging me, I felt rage. And I literally can see a part of who who we think of as Tammy, was like I'm sitting over here at one end of the house and I'm seeing myself in the kitchen and this rage coming out of me. And then I start to feel like this fear. Now I've worked with my rage. I'm not afraid of that. And yet this is a different level. And so I went underneath that. I went underneath that and I reached out for help. I reached out for help. A mentor should have mentors. A coach should have a coach. I have mentors and I have coaches. So I reached out for help to help me dig in this because I'm like, whoa, there's something big with this. And as I went back and I went under the fear and I went under the rage, things started to appear. Things that I have dealt with. But there is different layers of it. You see, when we start doing our internal work, when we start healing ourselves, it's like different layers. Yeah, people call it the onion, the different, the onion. But how about if we call it a rose? Like we want to get to the actual bud of who we are so we can bloom from the inside out. So a petal and a petal and a petal, they start to fall off. Or we can call it like, we can imagine it also like water. You can be floating on top and you get to that, all those aspects of ourself that need healing. And then, because the deeper you go in the water, the darker it gets, right? And I could feel the depth of this. I could feel the depth of this. And a question came forth of, why do I fear being healthy? Why do I fear being healthy? Being fit and trim. See, just as I asked, because I'm still working on this, right? Even though there's some great breakthroughs yesterday, this is something, and put in your own. Why do I fear? Fill in your own blank. For me, it's because this has been a lifelong challenge. I've been fit and trim and really healthy, from like 2002 until 2000. Sorry, about 2000. Probably up until I was like 53. From 43 to 53. Okay, let's just say those 10 years. And I looked awesome. I was healthy. I was enjoying life. And then menopause came and things started shifting. And I had and there was a lot of heartache in my life at that time, right when menopause was happening. And some major life decisions happened, and major, major, major heartache. And I was even diagnosed with, how did he call it? Heartbreak syndrome, but there's another word in there. Broken heart syndrome. Broken heart syndrome, which affected my adrenals, which affected my whole body. And okay, so what makes me fear being healthy? Write that question down and fill in your own blank. What makes me fear? If and maybe the word fear isn't for you. What makes you anxious? What makes you hesitant? What's sabotaging me? What makes this part of me sabotage me from being healthy? And the more I dug and allowed, the more I allowed to come forth from me, I could feel. And all the memories from when I was molested, from when I was in this lifetime, like a lot of different memories came up because things have been happening to me since I was a small girl into my teens, and and which carried into my adulthood. Okay, some things. So, and so we dug under that. And it's because, so what makes me fear being healthy? Now there's still work I have to do around this, okay? Still working on this, still digging even deeper. But what came through is, I am how I look by others around me. That they won't see past that because I'm a very curvaceous woman. Okay. So by becoming trim again, by becoming healthy, which means I'll release extra fat, And within our fat cells, we store memories, we store emotion. We store emotion. I know that I know that. Whether it's proven, I know that I know that. And that emotion is really strong. Like I can feel it right now behind my eyes. I can feel tears feel filling my eyes as as I'm sharing this. I am how I look. By like that's an old thought pattern in my psyche that came forth yesterday. And now my body's all hot. I feel like I'm going to start sweating by sharing this with you. So one step at a time, right, darlings? One step at a time. So there is fear, and I can still feel still some of that there, right? Of unwanted advances. Unwanted advances. There's fear of that. Never thought about that part before. So we're discussing for all of you that are coming on or listening to the replay. Just want to. So I'm talking about what came through yesterday at from a depth within, because when we do this work on the top layers, and we start to, okay, heal this and heal this and heal this, and then the depth. There's depth that wants to come up and be looked at. So another one. People won't take me seriously. Only look at me as if I'm an object. I heard a story a long time ago that's what happened with Marilyn Monroe. She was one of the she was always she was, the poster girl, the pinup girl, the um people saw her as a sexual object. And eventually, from from what I understand, um well, I don't know if she truly committed suicide or if somebody took her life. So so now I'm working with these parts of me that have revealed these different things that I didn't realize were still there. Thought I did that work, right? How many of you, how many of you are like, I did that work? I had that little thought, like, as I'm talking with one of my coaches, I'm like, but I've done this work. Why is it still here? And the fact that that resistance was so strong, but I can see the resistance, and it's one step at a time to correct our resistance. Now that I know it's here. So when I was a little girl growing up, between between different things with either a family member or the neighborhood boys, from being molested from by family members, or um, being attacked by the neighborhood boys. What's the thing? I'm trying to say this without like going too much into the stories. But if we told our mom, because my older sister and I were molested by one of our uncles, and when our mom found out, it was our fault, and we got punished. I don't remember all that stuff, but my older sister remembers it vividly, and how she got spanked with the fly swatter. So with those memories, even though in the subconscious, those memories of being punished, like there was a thought form growing up. What did you do? Why were you teasing the boys? What did you do to make the boys do that? You follow me with that? How many of you, like, if a girl was taken advantage of, it was always the first question. Well, what did you do? What were you doing to tease the boys? What did you do to make them think that you were easy? How many of you have grown up um, with that kind of mentality? Let's call it like that. That kind of mentality. How many of you grew up like that? So, so, okay. So all of that being blamed for teasing because there was this another stream of consciousness that was coming forth yesterday. If I look and feel beautiful and sexy and sensual, because you feel that, you exude that, right? Then I will do the wrong thing. So that came forth. Like, wow. Even though I've done all this work, even though you've done all this work. Hi, Carol. So glad you're here, darling. So when those things happen, like it was even into my early 40s. I don't like to admit this out loud, but I'm sharing this because of how ingrained all of this stuff was in my life. Because even into my early 40s, and I did not even catch this myself until a dear man, like dear to my heart, had the courage to show me. So I was in a network marketing company and very, very, very well respected men. And we had a meeting locally that I went to, and um, everybody always dressed up very respectfully. And I went into this group where these men were talking because I wanted to learn. Like I'm a sponge. And I'm also a nobody. That's what I felt like, right? A nobody. So I said something. I don't even remember what I said, but apparently there was sexual innuendo in it. Now, I grew up with my dad saying stuff with a sexual innuendo in that, like a stream of that energy in whatever he said. Not always towards me, but I would see it and I would hear it. And there was something ingrained in me from an early, early, early age. And maybe I brought it forth too from another lifetime that that's how you communicate with men. Not that you want the attention of being a sex object, but that's how you communicate with men. That's how you get them to pay attention to you, is having a sexual innuendo within the conversation. I didn't even know I was doing that, ladies. Okay, so I'm 59 right now. Until I was like 42, 43. And I didn't even know that until Willie, this man, took me to the side one time. Says, Tammy, do you realize what you're doing? I'm like, what are you talking about? Because yes, as soon as I said whatever I said, all the attention was on me. Not saying it was even respectful. I don't know. I don't know. I just remember, okay, all the attention's on me. I don't know. Maybe some of them were shocked. I don't know. But Willie took me to the side and said, Tammy, you're speaking to the men with a sexual innuendo in your language. Now, I know that's not what you want to have attention of. Do you know you're doing that? Had no clue, ladies. Had no clue. Had no clue. So that's where some of this is coming from. Like, if I look and feel beautiful and sensual and exude this energy by really following this program of healing my hormones, of investing my time and energy into it and really adapting what I'm being taught and really releasing all this fat and this energy, which I've been wanting to for years, right? This has been a lifelong struggle, up and down, in and out. I mean, ever since I was 2 years old, I've had issues with my body because I would look at pictures of myself and my tummy is so protruding that my top, we had two-piece short sets back then. My top is over my belly and my shorts are under my belly. So I've always had a protruding belly. But I also know that has to do with hormones and energy. Okay. So, as all of this is coming forth yesterday, yeah, I know, right? Big day. And there was even more that showed up. This thick, heavy blanket of blame. Because through all of that, there was blame. Not only were we as little girls growing up, as even into adulthood, if you attracted some man's attention and it ended up being and unwanted advances came to you, or somehow they thought you meant this when you didn't mean that, and they thought you wanted to have something, have sex with them or whatever, then I would blame myself, like, because that was what I was taught. What did you do to tease them? What did you do to make those advances happen? What would you do? Blah, blah, blah. Even, like 20 years ago, Joe's 40. About 20 years ago, all my kids we used to go to my dad's house Christmas, for Christmas Eve. And I was looking so good, ladies. Even though I can't fit into it, I still have it. That two-piece red skirt outfit. I had released a lot of weight. I was on a great program. It was in with this company, and I felt confident. Well, I wore this two-piece red outfit to Christmas Eve with my husband and my children, thinking nothing of it. And my dad comes up to me and puts his arm around my waist and says, "Too bad you're my daughter. Red's my favorite color." I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck, right? I felt like I wanted to throw up right there and then. I I didn't say anything. I didn't because I did not want to ruin Christmas for my kids, for my family. Now, girls, you better believe I would say something and not care. But because and I just like I stuffed it all in, right? Now what and I want you to think about this. What has happened in this lifetime that you can remember feeling something and not saying anything about it? This is not about making yourself bad. This is about finding those things that can still be influencing decisions, actions, influencing actions that are even unwanted, but you don't know why you're doing them. When we allow that to come forth and discover that, and it's not about making ourselves feel bad. It's about celebrating, like, oh, thank you, thank you for showing me this part that is controlling sometimes what I grab for in regards to food. Resistance, blind spots that we have in our life that we cannot even see through. Maybe now, because now there's some cracks and I can start to see, like, incredibly, like, so as I said, I'm still working with these aspects, with this new knowledge of a deeper level that came forth. Like, I always kind of knew there was something like that because this extra weight, this extra fat that I have and I carry with me is a protection. And I've always known it's protection, but I kind of sort of knew what protected me from, but not completely. I honestly, I could feel it was big, but I wasn't ready to go there yet. Even after doing years and years of inner landscape, inner healing work. The vast landscape within us, darlings, wants to be looked at, wants to be toiled up. Feel that? Feel that? Yeah. So as you work in your gardens, as you plant a seed, you can also ask your body, breathe into your heart and allow your body to speak to you. What is it that wants to also be toiled up within me? Shifts have to happen. Making shift happen is a must. It has to happen in order for us to heal from the inside out. Shifts have to happen in order for us to heal from the inside out. Remember, one step at a time, one step at a time. So one step at a time is how. So there's going to be a lot. So some of you that are listening to this, you know the forgiveness practice I've taught you. That's one of my tools I'll be working with myself, helping to heal that part of me that has literally grasped on to that blame, that literally has taken. Yeah, like right now I can feel that in my fat cells. I can feel that in my cellular structure of who I am. This deeper level of blame, relentless blame. It's always your fault. What did you do? Why did you tease him? Why did you say that? And it goes on and on and on. And when okay, this is really interesting. I don't know this. Wow. Because I just heard the word, like, You deserve to be fat. You deserve to blah, 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 blah. Not that I'm just allowing that to come forth, not judging it, allowing that the energy of blame to speak, to be heard. That's another one of my tools. Staying in my heart space because this energy doesn't want to be stuck in me. This energy doesn't want to be, this energy of blame does not want to, it wants to, okay, this energy of blame wants to be liberated and transmuted back into original divine love. And transmuted back into original divine love. So just hearing that, you deserve to be fat. Like, wow, really? Where did that come from? Feels like there's jealousy in there. So yes, I have. So as some of you do this kind of work, allow these different parts of you to come forth, as much as possible without judgment in the heart space. Allow it to speak, allow it to purge, allow it to, the emotion of it. That, because that saying you deserve to be fat goes right back to when I was 14 and my dad pulled me out of the car with my boyfriend at the time who was much older than me. He pulled me out of the car when Stan dropped me off, pulling me by my hair, called me a slut and a whore, kicking me in my ass as he was like pushing me with my hair, kicking me in my ass with his pointed cowboy boots, called me a slut and a whore, across the street, up the driveway, down the sidewalk, up the steps, into the house, and then just like get out of my face and released me from my hair as I'm screaming for him to stop. And something broke. Something in, like, on a soul level shattered in me from that experience. And 46 weeks later, I was actually raped, and I froze. I froze when I was raped. I couldn't even say no, like nothing would come out of my throat. No sound, no nothing. And I was still a virgin. And so this was my first experience to that degree. And I heard this voice. That's what you get. That's what you get as a slut and a whore. That's what you get. And I heard this voice repeating that. So now I know there's a connection between, oh, you deserve to be fat. Oh, you deserve that. You're a slut and a whore. And I'm sharing this just being fully in my heart, allowing those, even that voice, allowing that voice to come forth of, I would say voices, because of all this different energy, all these different aspects that are like, oh, it's time. There's a deeper, grander stream of healing, of transmutation, of there's a gathering happening within me and around me of different aspects that have been fragmented that desire to be healed, and the same with you. There's different aspects within us that desire to come forth, to be heard, to be felt, to be healed, to be able to transmute and go back to original divine love. Because that's where we all came from, babies. That's where we all came from. What's original, just the purest, most sacred love ever. And when we can be in our heart space as these parts of us, and it could be just a whisper, and then you say, I hear you. I hear you. Thank you for coming forth. See, energy's already moving. I know that because I yawn a lot when I do energy work. And I share these personal stories with you, not for you to feel sorry for me, because I don't feel sorry for myself. They've been great teachers, and they've helped me to dig deep and heal expansively. And I learned years ago that even ascended masters, whatever realm or dimension they're in, that they still continue to work on themselves also. They still continue to work on themselves also. So some of us might think, wow, is this ever going to end? I'm still working on myself, and there's still layers of this coming forth. And it's okay. And it's okay. And it's okay. We want them to come forth. We grow in our strength. We grow in our commitment as we allow that and we work with that inner healing journey. And when we actually have the courage to reach out and say, I need help. That's something we're also going to be discussing in this 4-week class that I am facilitating in April. Every Wednesday, the month of April, we're going to be rise up, sisters. It's our time. It's our time. It's our time to rise up, to be more in our energy, more in our radiance of who we are and why we came here. Yes, I hope you join with me on that class. It's 2 hours every Wednesday in the evening, opening up those possibilities, opening up and seeing where some of these thoughts may be hidden, some of these aspects of us, because thoughts become things. So choose the good ones, right? Sometimes there's thoughts within us that we don't even know are there. Just like these I shared with you today. I didn't know, like I thought I'd taken care of them. And yesterday they're just like, girl, I'm back. And I'm back stronger so we can do more work. So I hope you join me. It's only $88 for the month of April. Let me know if you're interested. I already posted something in our Facebook group, but let me know personally if you're interested. If you can't find that link, and I'll talk to you more about it. You can even schedule a one-on-one call with me to schedule if you want to know more about it. I believe in you, girls. I believe in you so much. I believe in your light. Believe in you, in your starlight. So I call you girls sisters. You have a starlight within you that wants to be seen, that wants to radiate out from you. And together, we will walk that path and start creating that experience. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here with me today. Mwah. Thank you. Let's keep this conversation going on inside our Facebook group. Let me know if something starts to come up that's starting to show and starting to speak to you. Remember to take that breath, take it into your heart space. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And thank you so much for listening to the replay.